Thousands flee their homes. They are on the move for safety, and the UN peacekeeping mission MONUSCO has become a target. What's the fate of the people of Goma? Good afternoon and welcome. I am Tabitha Akov. This is where we begin today's flash news on ABC Amba TV. We'll get into the details and many more right after the break. Stay tuned. The eastern region of the Democratic Republic of Congo has descended into chaos as M23 rebels claim to have seized control of Goma, a strategic city near the border with Rwanda. The situation has escalated rapidly with explosions and gunfire reverberating through the city on Sunday night, deepening a conflict that has already displaced hundreds of thousands of people. Take a look.
Our vision in this interim government is to make ABC a leader and a real warhorse of our struggle. We want to grow it, expand it, hire and train more hands, and broadcast round the clock, around the world, and take command of the media space of this world.
You can enjoy all round the clock, 24/7 exclusive moments of bliss as an ABC Amba TV Club member. A cappella. Latest Nigerian/African movies, global politics, ABC Amba News and updates, historical documentaries, and lots more. In our daily programs, we have Undaunted, ABC Amba News, bringing into the news untold stories with Onyi Okpala and Star Smart. Exclusive discussion, revolutionary panel conversation, infotainment, edutainment, intro governmental debates on topical issues with panicking, state of the liberation movement, fronting IG and people of Ambazonia's position, the struggles weekly update with Secretary Martin Mungwa, PhD, FASCE. Health is wealth, health education and awareness within the Ambazonian community with Dr. Yaya. Liberation prayer, an intercessory ministry for Ambazonia with Pastor Victor Mba. Our freedom, spiritual awareness and education for the Ambazonian community with Pastor Victor Mba and Pastor Commando. Church and politics, neutralizing the myths and preconceived religious and political philosophies that limit the Christian involvement in the realms of decent politics with Pastor Commando. The Horizon, the voice of the Ambazonian woman with Dr. Patience Abiedo and Lady Casey. Our Amber History, bringing to limelight the hidden history of Ambazonia to the world with Pastor Commando. Appointment on community building, education on patriotism within the Ambazonian communities with Ma Rachel Itatima. Ethics for an Emerging Nation, watchdog of basic principles and morals of a nation at war with Ma Dorothy Ngwa. Upcoming programs: Pigeon News, Vernacular Talk Show, County Roots, Activists Corner, Amber Focus, only on ABC Amba Television. We the people, the voice of the voiceless. For 24/7 access, subscribe as a club member on www.abcambatv.com/.
Well, that's the devastating scene of thousands being displaced. The clashes between M23 Congolese forces and UN peacekeepers have pushed Goma to the brink, with the Congolese government accusing Rwanda of backing the rebels. Rwanda denies these allegations, insisting that its troops are maintaining a defensive stand. However, UN reports claim that Rwanda has deployed soldiers to support the rebels, allegedly to exploit the region's mineral wealth. As tensions continue to rise, Kenyan President William Ruto has announced an emergency summit between Democratic Republic of Congo's President Felix and Rwanda President Paul Kagame to resolve the conflict. The summit is a last-ditch effort to prevent all-out war between the two nations. Let's take a look at the video of Kenya's President William Ruto.
Deteriorating situation in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo are a grave concern to the people and governments of East Africa. Noting the worsening humanitarian crisis exacerbated by ongoing military actions, including the closure of airspace in Goma, I call for the immediate and unconditional cessation of hostilities. I call on the parties to the Luanda process on Eastern DRC and appeal specifically to my brothers, President Felix Tshisekedi and President Paul Kagame, both of whom I have had the occasion to speak to this evening, to heed the call for peace from the people of our region and the international community. We will be convening an extraordinary East African Community Summit within the next 48 hours to facilitate and to deliberate on this crisis and chart a way forward.
Will the outcome of this summit birth a reconciliation when the humanitarian situation in Goma is there? An effort ineffective, leaving many without essential supplies, with over 400,000 people displaced and keywords in the city's airport blocked? Well, this concerns draws down to the stance of the UN Security Council. They have condemned the violation of Congo's sovereignty, demanding the withdrawal of external forces. The UN Secretary General and Ambassador have called on Rwanda to cease its support for M23 and issued a stern warning. As the situation in Goma continues to deteriorate, the international community has also called for calm and restraint, urging all parties to the conflict to respect human rights and international humanitarian law. Let's take a look at the video of the UN Security on the conflict.
An emergency meeting of the Security Council Wednesday for an emergency meeting of the Security Council. The last development in North Kivu, the advance of M23 troops and imminent threats against Goma are extremely concerning. France reaffirms its unwavering support to the sovereignty and territorial integrity of DRC. We strongly condemn the ongoing offensive led by the M23 with the active support of Rwanda. This offensive is causing major risks for civilians and must be stopped immediately. The M23 must free the territory that it has captured. Support to armed groups by all parties must stop. We urge an immediate return to ceasefire. The dialogue initiated through the Luanda and Nairobi processes with the full support of France must restart without.
The conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo is complex and multifaceted, with various armed groups vying for control of the region's rich mineral resources. The M23 rebels are just one of many groups operating in the region, and their actions have been condemned by the international community. And with the confirmation of Pete Hegseth as the new U.S. Defense Secretary, we believe he may bring a new perspective to the conflict, prioritizing a more diplomatic approach to resolving the conflict. However, the road to peace is long and arduous. The international community must come together to support the people of Goma and the Democratic Republic of Congo, proffering support and effort to find a peaceful resolution to the conflict, one that addresses the underlying issues and promotes sustainable development. The situation in Goma is a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of conflict and the importance of promoting peace and stability. In the short term, the emergency summit called by Kenya's President William Ruto between President Felix and President Kagame may provide a glimmer of hope. However, a lasting solution will require a sustained effort from the international community. The UN Security Council's condemnation of the violation of Congo's sovereignty is a step in the right direction. More needs to be done to hold those responsible for the conflict accountable. As the situation in Goma continues to unfold, the people of Goma deserve our support and solidarity in this time of need. In a new development following the crackdown in President Trump's deportation policy, the world is watching as immigration policy unfolds, leaving a trail of uncertainty and fear in its wake. The impact is being felt far beyond the borders of the countries involved. At the heart of the controversy is the policy of deporting undocumented immigrants, which has been a cornerstone of the current administration's approach to immigration. However, the crackdown has been met with widespread criticism, with many arguing that it is insane and violates basic human rights. One of the countries most affected by the crackdown is Colombia, which has seen a significant increase in deportations in recent months. The Colombian government has been working closely with the U.S. administration to implement the policy, but many Colombians are speaking out against it. In a bold move, Colombian President Gustavo Petro initially rejected 2 flights of Colombian illegal aliens from the United States, stating in his social media page that the U.S. cannot treat Colombian migrants as criminals. This decision sparked a tense standoff between the two nations, with President Donald Trump threatening to impose tariffs and other measures against Colombia if it refused to comply. Petro's rejection of the deportation flight was seen as a defiant stance against Trump's hardline immigration policies. The Colombian president argued that the U.S. was attempting to impose its will on Colombia and that his country will not be intimidated by Trump's threats. However, in a stunning turn of events, Petro's government suddenly caved for Trump's demands, arranging for the presidential plane to facilitate the dignified return of its citizens. This move marked a significant about-face for Petro, who had initially refused to accept the deportation flight. The reversal came after Trump threatened to impose a 25% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. from Colombia, which would rise to 50% after a week. The U.S. also imposed visa restrictions on Colombian officials and their families and enhanced inspections of flights, private aircraft, and cargo to and fro Colombia. Let's take a look of the undocumented immigrants arrested.
We immediately halted all illegal entry and began sending every border trespasser and violator back to the places from which they came.
Wow, this situation highlights the complexities of immigration policy and the challenges of balancing national security with humanitarian concerns. Trump's hardline stance on immigration has been a hallmark of his administration, and this latest development is likely to be seen as a victory for his policies. Mexico is another country that has been impacted by the crackdown. The Mexican government has been critical of the policy, arguing that it is not a solution to the complex issue of immigration. As the crackdown continues, many are left wondering what the future holds for immigration policy. Will the U.S. administration reconsider its approach and work towards finding a solution that takes into account the complexity of immigration and the human rights of all individuals involved? Only time will tell. However, the impact of the crackdown is truly felt. This is where we'll be drawing the curtain on today's edition of Flash News. Remember, we'll be bringing you untold stories on Undaunted at the top of the hour, 8 p.m. Until then, we'll have a pleasant day.